Good evening, everyone. Well, as you can see, she's now been reassembled and is happily down on the ground. I have to say I owe you an apology in that I may have given the wrong impression that this was going to be easy. No, it isn't. I had probably 4 or 5 attempts to get this axle bolt through there, and I was thwarting myself at every turn. I couldn't get things lined up, couldn't get things balanced, and if I gave the impression that all you needed was what is in the sunlight there, a hydraulic platform and yourself, I may have been overstretching it slightly. This was much more difficult than I remembered. I've done it a couple of times in the dim and distant past, and much more difficult today than I expected. Maybe I was blasé and feeling overconfident. But there's no doubt about it, you need to be a bit of a juggler to get this front end back together again, because you're holding things in your left hand, you're holding things in your right hand, you've got your feet underneath the wheel giving it some lift whilst you try and get it back underneath the mudguard and get everything lined up so that you can pop that axle bolt all the way across. 4 or 5 attempts, and I was beginning to feel that it wasn't going to happen today, but fortunately, obviously the last one popped straight in. I now hadn't done anything different from the 4 times before. Sod's law, I guess. And the other thing I will also apologise for is I may have been a bit blasé in suggesting the necessity for a ratchet strap or a strap of some kind. There's no doubt about it. Either I had got the bike slightly off balance on the platform in the first place, but it was definitely a lot more mobile than I remember from the times before. And bobbing and weaving and ducking and diving and pushing and shoving and all that kind of stuff was reduced, definitely, by using an axle strap from the top of the crash bars, which is about there, down onto the platform, which would have been about there. My only other excuse is that I may be suffering from a bit of long COVID, because brain fog appeared about halfway through this fiasco this afternoon. No, not fiasco, successful fiasco. And I wasn't convinced that I was actually in a fit state to do it. However, like all good soldiers, you get on with it and you do it and whatever. And there were no accidents or incidents. No need for any additional tools apart from the ones I showed you. So, in fairness, it's done. The brakes are pumped back up. I took the caliper off. I think I might have reminded you that on the left-hand side, because it's only a single disc front wheel, the calipers are on the left. And I had to take the caliper off, or not off, but disconnect it from the fork, not disconnect it from the hydraulic line, but just disconnect it from the fork in order to give that extra space up inside the mudguard, in order to finagle the wheel back into place. So I had to then separate, because I accidentally squeezed the brake lever without realising that the calipers weren't reattached. So I had to physically, with a couple of screwdrivers, move the brake pads away from each other. And you can do that just by pressure of one screwdriver on one side and one on the other side, and you force them back into position so that the piston in the caliper moves slightly. that gives you enough space between the disc pads in order to get the disc up inside. Then you can mount the caliper, tighten it down, then do a brake test, front brake. Just give it a couple of squeezes until you feel it bite. And then I also had a little difficulty with the speedo cable. Done a little remark on that on another little video. But that was troublesome at the end because you have to sort out the drive just there. And I disconnected the speedo cable, and then I couldn't get it to refit. So that took a little bit of messing about. Eventually I did, obviously, because it's all back together again. But yeah, just awkward, really awkward, and I was beginning to get annoyed with myself towards the end. But we logically, methodically got to the end, and voila. The only thing that I haven't done is I haven't been able to find any brake cleaner to do the white walls on this new tyre. Nobody's got any, which is a bit odd, so I'm going to leave them. The chap who sells these tyres, Dave Millings I think his name is, up in Cumbria, he suggests a scrubbing brush and some soapy water. He doesn't recommend any liquids, any other liquids really. What am I trying to say? Any chemicals. However, I will say I did the back tyre and didn't notice anything untoward, and it was only a light application of brake cleaner, and it cleared up the back ones quite well. So I'm going to do the front ones the same as soon as I get some brake cleaner, probably tomorrow. So for now, if my memory serves me correctly, we are all back together, all tightened up, bolts checked, back and front, no leaks. So I'm going to use it tomorrow. Should be a sunny day tomorrow. It's been off and on today. It's going to be a sunny day tomorrow. And as long as it is, I'm going to take that with me to give my son a hand. So that'll be an 80-mile round trip. And we'll just double check that everything is okay. I think it is. So no other big jobs at the moment. I hope these videos have proved useful, mildly entertaining, because they had to be done now, because I'm unlikely to change the tyres again for, who knows, a year, 2 years maybe. So it was either make the videos now, or who knows what can happen in 2 years' time. So I hope they prove to be of use. If you have any questions, obviously please do ask, and I'll do my best. And sorry, one final point: the torque setting on the axle bolt for there, or the nut at the end, is 78 foot-pound. I do have a workshop manual, so if there's any questions or doubts about that or anything else, then please let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them from the workshop manual. I try to follow it in what I do to this bike, because I don't want to start messing about with it. Kawasaki did a wonderful job, and they should be applauded for it, and I'm not going to mess them about. Okay, I've made alterations to suit my riding comfort, and that's it. I don't fiddle with it, I just enjoy it when I can. Okay, so for now, thank you very much for watching, and do pass these on to anybody you think might benefit. Okay, see you on the next one, whenever that might be. Thank you.